Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today I want to just quickly go over the limited gift packages and just the packages in general for September. I know we're a little late on this, but I've been getting questions about this and if they're worth it and which ones may be worth it. So we broke down the numbers. So I want to give you those numbers if we can. Hit that like and subscribe. Check out the Tower of Fantasy playlist, and let's get started. All right, hopefully this is going to be a pretty short and sweet video. It's going to be a little uncut, just straight to the point. Now quickly, I do want to go over that. By the way, I'm on my free to play account here. So nothing has really been purchased ever. But I do want to quickly go over, yes, this is going to be considered pay to win, dolphin-y, maybe a little whale-y, but a decent amount of our community does spend some money in this game, whether it's from $5 to maybe several $100s. I don't know. I do want to point out that the daily supply box is probably your best bang for buck if you are a decent spender, but 2,600 gems is not anything to scoff at. I mean, you'd be looking at maybe to do 3 weeks of this, you'd be looking at roughly about $125. So that's a lot to take in, right? That's a lot of money, especially, but it does get you those red nucleuses, 30 of them. Over the long run, this is going to get you the most bang for buck. But let's talk about the limited packages. Now, these limited packages are actually pretty good, but I do want to hit you with like the biggest tip right away. Big tip. And it's not really a tip. It's more of just an observation. Is the problem is that a lot of these packages are priced with these proofs of purchases. You can see there's 20 of them there. Now, proofs of purchases, especially limited proofs of purchases, are a pretty big bean boozle in my opinion, right? Now, it's one thing to pull a character, because getting a character at C0 is typically better than getting nothing. But if you get 40 special vouchers, and say you missed the pity, or say you missed the 50-50, these limited matrices are useless unless you can get to 2-piece or a 4-piece. So if you're really playing, if you're buying most of these packages, or you're buying that this daily supply box, you really shouldn't roll on any matrix set unless you can guarantee that you can roll at least 80 of them. So I want you to keep that in mind, that we're going to break down the numbers based on worth, really around the red nucleuses, then the special vouchers, and then I'll show you both combined together. But right out the gate, you can see that some of these, especially these small packages, are actually pretty. You can see it just with your general eyes, like 60 titanium for 150, essentially a one red nucleus that costs 150. You can tell that's worth right there. So we're going to pull out our fancy dancy spreadsheet, and we're going to go through some of these numbers, and I will share this spreadsheet, and we'll make another one once October hits. So now the first thing I do want to point out is that we went through all the different packages here. There is one package that's no longer there. Unfortunately, I was not able to review that. So if you were able to pick that up, you were able to pick that up. But this initial top layer is just for the red nucleuses. So that's why we have this divided by the amount of red nucleuses you can get. I don't know how to type, apparently. So going through some of these packages right here, and going from top to bottom, you can see that we have the cost of these packages. Titanium costs 60, 180, a 980, which is essentially $15. Yada 980 is about $15. 1680, 2980, and 6480, which is about $100 for that XL pack. Now, what we do is that we essentially take the amount of red nucleuses you get there and divide it by the amount of titanium there is. And since most red nucleuses cost 150 titanium or black crystals, that gives us our baseline right here. So you can see just right out the gate, that first package, right, is a 250% worth. Totally worth. Especially if you buy the monthly package. Buy that and buy the next one, right? Because you get those 300 titanium if you buy that $5 package. 100% worth it. You can see that 166% worth on getting two for essentially the price of one, right? The titanium cost compared to the calculated cost. Now, this is where things really start to go downhill, and it really depends on your worth. Now, if we're just calculating the red nucleuses, you can see that worth percentage starts to go down, and sometimes it actually dips under 100%. That's right. It can actually dip under 100%. Now, it's very, very close. And you could say, hey, no, that's still worth it because I'm getting I'm getting those those proofs of purchases right here. But if those proofs of purchases, like we just talked about, are 80 of them, it's really not going to give you your best bang for buck when you're really looking for characters. So if we take some of those big packages, like this one that costs 64.80, you can see that 64.80 right there. You can see that you only get 40 nucleuses, so the calculated cost of that is about 162. That's right. Every red nucleus at that point would cost you 162 dark crystals. Totally not worth. Totally not worth. Now, let's get into the actual numbers. Now, these are the numbers I care about because I really care about red nucleuses the most. I honestly wish they had 2 sets of packages here. I wish that they had packages that mimicked all these, but they give you a choice. Maybe I don't want those special vouchers. You should just give me the choice that I should get more red nucleuses. That would be such a lovely suggestion to the 𝙀𝙓 team. But so going through our next set of numbers, you can see that the worth gets a little bit better once we take those proofs of purchases in there. And you can see that we divide it now by red nucleuses and proofs of purchases. So instead of that 40 we divided it by on that biggest package, it's now 60, which gives you a better calculated cost. You can see it's about 108. So that value definitely goes up as you take into count both of those. But you really need to be buying all these packages for about 2 or 3 months before you can really guarantee even a 2-piece on a limited. So please keep that in mind. So really, I'm not going to run through all these numbers, but you can see that some of these packages are very, very worth it, especially from a light to medium spender. Some of these I do not consider to be worth it unless you're a big old whale and you want to buy them. You want to buy them all out. Now, here's the last thing I do want to point out is that just for comparison, I did throw the monthly pass in there. Now, that monthly pass essentially gets you about 3,300 crystals, right? You get about 300 titanium, you get 3,000 dark crystals. Now, if you calculate the amount of dark crystals you could buy with that titanium, it's about 22. So, or with the black crystals. Now, the titanium cost to technically buy a battle pass is 300. Because to buy 300 titanium is about $4.99. It's the same cost. So the calculated cost there is about 13. We should actually reduce some numbers here, make that a little bit easier to read. But you can see here, 150 divided by 13 gets you a 1,100% value increase. This is why I say everyone, if you can, buy the monthly pass, because the monthly pass alone, over the course of a year, gives you essentially gives you 3 pities. Now that's the 80 pity. It gives you roughly 2.5 full 120 pities, but with the amount of crystals you get per month on top of that, you're guaranteed with the monthly pass that about every 2 to 3 months you can guarantee that you're going to pull that character with the monthly grind. So that's why the monthly pass is so worth it, and especially worth it if you've seen my meta video. Now, the battle pass I did as well. And now I do say the verdict is great on these, mainly because everything else that's in there, right? You got all the other stuff on the battle pass that you really need to take into consideration, but without doing some really hard napkin math, right? It's hard to put a lot of worth to some of these additional structures like SSR relic boxes and stuff like that. So we're just going to make a general claim, and that's why the verdict is still great. But you can see here, the $10 package gets you about 8 red nucleuses, which gives you a calculated cost of about 122. And that $20 package, this is what the titanium cost would be, would get you about 18, which gives you a 108. So you can see that value does increase slightly. Now you get skins, you get vehicles, you get everything else, but you do get a slight increase in value. And I think just the battle pass and monthly pass alone together trump a lot of this. So if it was me and I was a very light spender, I'd be buying the battle pass, I'd be buying the monthly pass, and I'd be buying these high worths. Now, I hope to have a updated spreadsheet for you guys every single time that they update this. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like me doing this? I don't know. Is this useful to you at all? I don't know if it is. So this is a short and sweet video. I have to get to streaming here in a second, so come check out our twitch.tv channel. I'll see you guys on the next video, and fist bump from me to you.